Hello everyone, myself Vaibhav. In today's session, the bears are prevailing in the market, and when we take a look on the European equity indices, almost all the equity indices are lower by more than 1 percentage point. And in yesterday's session only, I had talked about the possible sell off in the DAX. The title itself was suggesting that bears are now likely to be in charge of the DAX, and that is coming true in today's session. So we have this selling pressure again deepening, and more losses are being in today's session. So in this session, we will see if there are any fresh trading opportunities for us to get optimum entry and the exit points. We earlier in the day got these data for Japanese economy, and these are actually the third estimate, and not much of a revision on the data front. We have these multiple releases coming in, and if you consider the GDP numbers for Japan in terms of quarter on quarter as well as in annualized term, there is a sharp contraction in the economic activity, and it was pretty much anticipated. And the only concern is that this situation should improve in this quarter, this third quarter, and the quarter ahead. At least that would be an consolation after this horrible second quarter of this year. Later on, during the European trading session, so far we have got this trade balance data for Germany, and the German exports are showing good improvement, and there is a growth of 4.7%, whereas the imports have not really grown that much, and because of that, the Germany's trade surplus has widened to now stand at euro 19.2 billion compared to the prior month's trade surplus of euro 15.6 billion. So the July month has been good for the Germany's exporters. Now let's shift our attention to the technical outlook. First, we will go into the details of the emerging scenarios in the DAX, and then we will move on to the USDJPY technical analysis. Let's start with the DAX technical outlook. This is the daily time frame chart, and here, after getting close to the 100% Fibonacci expansion, the DAX has turned the corner, and now it is pretty much looking like that this downturn is likely to result in at least a mild correction, and we can anticipate the levels of around 12,500 in coming sessions if these current risk of sentiments continue to prevail in the most part of this week and the next week as well. And those levels pretty close to this 61.8% Fibonacci expansion of its prior rise can be anticipated to act as immediate support. Here we had this turnaround happening closer to this zone earlier also, and keeping that in mind, we can expect it to act as a near-term support for the DAX. Now the DAX has entered into a consolidation phase, so instead of sharp upside momentum, we are more likely to see sideways to bearish momentum prevailing in the DAX, and I think in such scenarios it will be prudent for us to look for fresh opportunities to go for sell trades in the DAX, and one of that opportunity was here earlier in the day when we had discussed these levels close to the 13,100 in yesterday's session only, and as anticipated things have gone really well. But now after this almost 2% fall from those levels, we have to see if there are any fresh opportunities for us to get involved in the latter hours of today's trading session. And I feel in such scenarios we have to watch out for the 13,000 zone. Here these indicators are now kind of pointing to the changing scenario. The regression curve, which was steeply bent on the upside, is now flattening to some extent, and though the price action is still in the upper band of this pivot point series, I think considering the formation of lower lows and these lower highs, we can expect the break below this central pivot point of this month's pivot point series, and in that scenario we can pretty much expect the DAX to break toward this first support of this month's pivot point series. So keeping that possibility in mind, I think even in today's session we should be looking at any fresh short sale opportunities in the vicinity of 13,000, and if we are fortunate enough, if we see some upside move and then do consolidation at least for a couple of hours, we can indeed think about going in for fresh short sale trade anywhere close to this 50 SMA zone. The 50 SMA is there around 13,024, and this can be used as our immediate entry point for today's session. And now considering this fresh fresh swing high formation, which is actually lower than the prior swing high, we can utilize this immediate swing high to act as a near term stop loss. Suppose if we are going for any short sale trade anyway in the vicinity of 13,000, I think the 13,200 price level should be good enough to act as our immediate stop loss for any possible move on the downside. And unless we go wrong, the stop loss is likely to provide us good amount of safety here. We will be taking the risk of around 1.5 percentage point, and in lieu of that we will be targeting almost 500 points on the lower side, as our immediate target is coming around 12,500. So we will be taking the risk for multiple reward, and the ratio is also going to be much better than the 1 is to 2. So keeping that in mind, and also this formation of three SMAs where we have these confluence zone of 50, 100 and 200 SMAs, which are likely to act as a near-term resistance for the DAX price to move on the higher side. We can use this opportunity, the changing sentiments in the DAX, to look for fresh sale trades anywhere in the vicinity of these 13,000 levels. Now let's shift our attention to the currency segment, where we will see what's happening in the USDJPY. This is the daily time frame chart, and USDJPY has been rather range bound for last couple of trading sessions, and its range has been fairly narrow. Because of that, even the ATR has dropped after this prior volatility. Now I think today's session is going to be crucial for USDJPY. Whether it holds, whether it breaks on the either side, is going to decide its trajectory in coming sessions. So from that perspective, we can indeed see if there are any fresh opportunities, and I think any entry in today's session will give us the head start for the remaining part of this session, this week, where we might pretty much bet on the continuation of the trend in the USD/JPY. Considering the pivot point series formation, we have this immediate support coming in the play around 106 zone. So for last couple of sessions, this is the price zone which we have used to act as our decisive marker. And as I have said earlier also, unless and until there is a clear break below this 106 zone, we can continue to bet on the possibility of USD/JPY rising from the current levels towards this 107 zone, which is also its first resistance of this month's pivot point series. And if you consider the regression curve, it is almost going flat with little bit of bend on the downside, but still a lot is going to depend on how the price action evolves on the current level, and then depending on the break, we will have to position our trades in USD/JPY. So here in today's session, watch out again for the price zone closer to 200, and this price level is still going to play the crucial role, and I think we have to keep in mind that this prior low, which is there around 106, is likely to provide immediate support for the USD/JPY, and because of that, unless and until there is a clear cut break below this prior swing low and towards price zone of 105.80 to 105.90, we can continue to look for fresh trade opportunities in today's session on the long side. And if indeed we see the break happening, then also it won't really be an prudent idea to go for short sale trades in today's session. Maybe after confirmation in tomorrow's session, we can take the fresh look. But as the things stand, though we are seeing some renewed selling pressure after getting close to 106.4, still we need to be careful in the USDJPY and see here how the price reacts to this immediate support zone, and if after due consolidation again if we see the fresh buying momentum, then I think it will be for the good, and we should be able to capitalize on this opportunity with sharp stop losses on the lower side. So here, watch out for this 200 price zone in the price band of 106.0 to 106.10, and it should act as an immediate support. So that's it from my side for today's session. If any of you have any query or any idea to share, you can write it in the comment section, and I would be more than happy to take the discussion forward. Before I sign off, I would also like to remind of the risk associated with trading in the financial instrument, and one should be careful while using the information provided. Have a fabulous day ahead. Goodbye.